have a match here. Seprix against Tracer. Let's go. Yeah. The thinning isn't very good here, but you can probably just plow through with governors, maybe nobles, maybe mm, catacombs. On the other hand, yeah, not so sure. I think I'd be inclined to open Butcher, probably Butcher Silver, and then just go for a lot of governors and not really try to draw the deck. But I think that's going to make it hard because of the lack of thinning for an opponent to really get their draw super reliable. So I like Butcher Silver into governors, and then after not very many silvers, transitioning to merchants over additional silvers. Somewhat depends on what your opponent's doing. Like if they're giving you more silvers, the more you want to get merchants rather than extra silvers. But obviously, you want your merchants to actually be. So yeah, the Night Watchman play is probably good if you can do it that way. And pawn, yeah, is going to be better than spending a token to get one of these other cards. I would get a silver here though, I think, over a governor. Oh, maybe just governor is better. Yeah, probably just governor is better. Gets a baker. Interesting, interesting. But Tracer looks to have a pretty substantial lead now, I think. Um, yeah, this should probably go to a pawn, and then Seprix. Well, I was thinking it would go to a pawn, and then he'd buy a Night Watchman. Should assume he's going to ditch all these coppers. Yeah, this isn't so bad. I would buy a governor here. Not a huge fan of this baker. I mean, it's a fine card in the deck. I would be wanting to start on governors, I think. It is going to be key to note if we get into a typical kind of governor game that it's pretty likely that your opponent can defensively upgrade into a little bit of points at least because nobles is there. Seprix does get this. Now, I believe he knows he has an estate there that he would probably want to hit with this butcher and not make it miss a shuffle. So yeah, that's the play I would have expected. And I would expect governor here. And I would expect Seprix to go estate into pawn by governor. Obviously, just keep the governor and the butcher. I guess he could have thought about keeping one more card because this merchant, but I'm not a huge fan of that. So yeah, I think I would estate into pawn and buy governor here. Again, more Night Watchman plays. Catacombs? I really don't like the Catacombs play. I would assume here you'd keep the merchant and the silver. And then I guess he wants to butcher the Catacombs. Huh. Okay. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Obviously, you got to discard these, right? I would think you'd rather buy something than just have the Night Watchman effect, especially since you're seeing most of these cards anyway. And another governor, and he gets to skip all these coppers. So that worked out okay. Just cantrip this. You could take money in a buy and, like, buy governor pawn or something, but it doesn't convince me. Yeah, cantrip. Now, another governor. Yeah, it's probably a bit too early to green still. Well, I don't think it's super far too early. Assume Seprix is going to keep drawing here until he finds the catacombs, which is what I assume he's looking for, but I don't know. Maybe he needs to stop now, turn one of these Night Watchmen into a governor. He could get 3 governors here. Or he could just get 2 and still be able to play the Night Watchman. I assume that has to be the consideration. I guess he could also maybe get a nobles. I don't have a lot of confidence in trying to build something out of nobles catacombs. So these last 5 cards for Seprix contain an estate, 3 coppers, catacombs. What? I don't like that play at all. Trash a... Well, there he gets to trash the catacombs. But, like, these merchants, they have so few silvers. I don't think he has any silvers anymore. So the merchants seem kind of bad. I mean, they'll probably have more silver soon, but it's not a shoe-in. I would think at this point you'd gain a bunch of golds with these governors as Seprix. But the catacombs is just so confusing to me. Maybe the whole point of the merchants is that they're cantrips that can be governor remodeled into 5s, but that seems pretty thin. Here I would just governor to gain, play butcher, not trash anything, by province. You could trash copper into copper. I probably would trash copper into copper because that's that's just like I like that. But wouldn't be too surprised if he trashes silver into Night Watchman. And then buys province. A little bit surprised that Seprix discarded that merchant. Do you discard the pawn? I think he discards the silver and not the pawn. That's surprising to me. So if he remodels gold to province and then butchers catacombs into province, that looks pretty bad. To some extent, this might just all be first player, but somehow a lot of what's happened is not super convincing to me. Um, all the Night Watchmen, I mean, some of the Night Watchmen I'm sure were good, but the catacombs still don't make any sense to me. The, yeah, he can't get a duchy. Yeah, but that seems probably good enough to go province and then province estate. Tracer would need province double duchy. Actually, Tracer has a good chance of being able to get province double duchy, but Seprix can defensively trash a 5 into a nobles. Maybe multiple 5s into nobles. I think that's what you have to go for. Yeah, catacombs into province, gain an estate, buy province, play your Night Watchman, and he'll have a 10-point lead with one province left and the ability to defensively trash into nobles because he will for sure have his last governor down there. That seems very, very likely to win. Um, unless Tracer. Maybe it's not that likely. Tracer can butcher, maybe also. But I think you have to go for it anyway. Province. Now, you leave the governor, and maybe that's it. I'm not a big fan of leaving the nobles. Okay, well now you definitely trash this governor into nobles. But I think Tracer wins anyway. Silver into duchy, and then pawn into duchy and buy duchy. Yeah. there's Jack and Fiefdom. There's Baron, Diplomat, Sacrifice, and Moneylender can get rid of coppers. Jack Fiefdom, probably not the way to go. Storeroom and Diplomat. You probably are doing something with a lot of diplomats here. Replace works okay-ish in that kind of a scenario. So what do you open? And how does like something like mission play in? Ritual. I think I'd be inclined to open Sacrifice. Probably a silver. Um, the reason I like so normally I think I'd lean Moneylender, but trashing a couple of the estates is probably going to be good. And the you mostly want to hit 4 anyway, so sacrifice making a little bit less money is not so bad. Um, is my thinking on that. Seprix got a storeroom, Treasure gets walled village. This should be a walled village. Yep. And then probably sacrifice a copper and buy. Oh, he's gonna go for the storeroom instead? You want to replace? Okay. Don't know how super enthusiastic I would have been about replace there. Yeah, that would be the reasoning for Moneylender, is that replace is going to do stuff for your states later anyway. Put a diplomat on top. Yeah. It's really nice knowing that. I'm pretty sure you knew that Moneylender was there. Maybe I'm. No, I think he did. Storeroom, 3 coppers. Yeah, this is kind of sad for Seprix. Gets to react this diplomat. I might mission again, honestly. Um, I guess he knows Seprix has a diplomat on top, which would lean you against diplomat missioning, because he's going to have his replace in his next hand. I don't know how big of a factor that is, though. This is good for Seprix. I assume you keep a copper rather than an estate? No, he keeps the estate. Hmm. I would think both of them would want a second walled village at some point, because just relying on diplomats every turn is a little bit tricky. So what is this estate going to turn into? And will he buy something else with his 3? think it would be another walled village or diplomat. It's a diplomat. Does he take? He does take a silver. And he does get to react to this diplomat again. But they're both like very dependent on their diplomats firing at this point. Here, you keep diplomat, diplomat, sacrifice. Okay. He just says, I'm going to draw something bad, which is fair. Um, I guess you could turn your silver into a 5, but I would think this would be a state into. It's really kind of time to get another walled vill. Nope, he's going to mission. And flop. Yeah. So now you sacrifice copper. And silver turns into replace. And he buys a mission. And just the coppers or the curse as well? Yeah, not sure about that. Should probably be. Well, the money didn't matter there. Goes for diplomat again. Very interesting. Just keep the 4 actions. And now we'll see if he missions versus replacing. Because if you're going to mission there, I would think you'd take a walled village rather than another diplomat on top. Because you know it's not going to react. You need to have your walled village exactly. So yeah, I don't. I think walled village was a better take there from Tracer. Um, to some extent, you can make some arguments because the diplomat pile, like the number, might be important, but I don't really buy it. Okay. So now Seprix is going to replace probably the silver into another replace. Into walled village. Interesting. Storeroom all of these 3 away. I assume this is fiefdom into probably replace. Okay. Not exactly sure if it was just draws or what pulled Tracer so far ahead there. Maybe, I don't know. So 3-4 isn't what you'd ideally want because you'd want Sinister Plot. Sinister Plot, by the way, works with Mission, and it's the only thing that works with Mission. Oh, paying debt for capital also works with Mission. So those are a couple of interesting things. Groundskeeper, duplicate. There isn't much draw here. There's only minion, and that doesn't work very well with the other payload. So kind of interesting. Monastery. I think I'd go silver plot, but it's gonna be hard to thin, so you could definitely see monastery getting there. I would kind of expect. I guess I'd go for a lot of minions, but the game is gonna go long. Or if the game goes long, like the groundskeepers, you have to plan for the game being able to go long. And then eventually you're going to have a lot of duplicates down and try to get a big turn with a lot of groundskeepers and then buy some green card and duplicate it a lot and try to go that way. So monastery plot. Do you get a second monastery here? I mean, at least copper is better than nothing, or better than estate that you're trashing. Not a huge fan in general of getting a second monastery, so this draw has worked out pretty well for Seprix. He could draw his last card here if he wants to get a 4. I think I'd just stick with a 3. Get another silver. He wants a 4. Minion here, trashing a couple coppers. This is nice for Seprix. He gets to get 2 minions and trash 2 coppers. I assume that's going to be better than capitals or whatever else. Yeah, and then he gets to pitch this hand. Which I assume he'll do. Yeah, now duplicate. And you could think about mission. The problem with mission is that you're not doing anything on your mission turn. So that seems bad to me. Yeah, duplicate, yeah. Some point you might think about getting villages, but probably not. Yeah, you just take money here. Oh, he fired off the plot. I don't understand why. Why? What does firing the plot get you there? Now let's see if he wants another silver or not. I could easily, honestly see that going either way. He didn't. Okay, now Tracer should probably just take the minions here. You gotta discard this. Feels pretty bad. I guess he could have drawn off his plot instead, but that still seems pretty bad. 2 groundskeepers here. Three maybe, even. He goes for capital? Huh. I don't like this. It doesn't. I mean, yes, it works with mission, but he's not gonna draw it reliably. Yeah, despite what they're saying in the chat, you can't draw the stuff reliably. You also have to buy mission. It's like a very fancy silver that lets you play your duplicate and get a plot up. Like it's better than silver, but it's not that much better than silver. 612. And now what? Like yeah, okay. And you have to buy mission, right? I guess you don't have to, but you pitch you pitch because you want to get this duplicate down. A duplicate down anyway. It's okay. I don't know that I agree that Seprix is ahead though. He has the extra duplicate, which is the biggest thing in his favor, I think. But I think Tracer is still very live to catch up here. He could get 2 duplicates, say. Yeah, mm-hmm. This seems good. I think Tracer is very much in this game. His deck is so much thinner and better. Um, and now he's got the ability to really gain cards more quickly than Seprix does. He can get like 3 groundskeepers, or he could just start picking up capitals. Um, I would not play all of these for money if I were Tracer. Well, certainly you're not going to play the last one, but I don't think I would even play 3 of them. I'd play either 1 or 2 for money before pitching. Now Seprix is going to go for more groundskeepers. Yep. This is the big risk for Tracer. If Seprix can get too many groundskeepers too fast, then Seprix will be in a good. Whoa, he drew. That I don't like that decision. Maybe I don't remember his hand that well, but get the duplicate down. You take for money. Okay, he doesn't take for money. But I think he just needs to play this duplicate here. And he can get 4 groundskeepers. Yeah. So, game's fairly close. But I still think, I think I like Tracer's spot. How many? He doesn't have any duplicates down right now. Yeah. Minstrel. GK, duplicate. 1 minion for money, but not more. What? Don't you play the duplicate first? Oh, he just wants to get all this stuff down. Okay. 3, and he has 3. He's just going to score a bunch of points. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Seprix resigns. Yeah. Yeah, just the thinner, better deck really was maybe a bit of an early resign because there's a lot of game left. He had more GKs. He had fewer minions. His deck wasn't really that much different quality at that point. I don't know. You just silver tournament here. It's really hard to draw. There's the only village is Trusty Steed. So I think you play it vaguely money-like. I guess you could go Silver Island and hope that your island collides with an estate. If it does, it's very good. Your fours are about as good as your fives here. He, wow, Banquet for a cobbler is not a play I like. The coppers are going to hurt this deck pretty substantially. I guess the strategy is you get an island when it pairs with an estate, and otherwise you get a tournament. And I mean, Cobbler's a fine card, and it's what I would want on 5, but I don't want it enough to Banquet for it. See if he Banquets again. Here I would buy a Cobbler. He gets a Vault, which is reasonable. Yeah. Now Island, Estate, and now what does he buy? Does he buy another Cobbler? Or does he buy a Vault? He gets a Vault. He gets sad at having this island show up like this. He buys a tournament? Yeah. Well, at least he gets to discard these estates here. Vault isn't bad. This is 5. Yeah. But silver. Okay. Um, so he's going to gain a silver in hand and buy a province? Surely you play this tournament. It's very hard for me to think that it isn't better to play this tournament than not. Gold, sure, yeah. And now another province. I could honestly see followers being very good, but they have enough terminals, enough actions and terminals that I'm not 100% sure. There's followers. Followers is very good here for sure. I If he took Diadem there, that was a province, so that was honestly reasonable. Cards for sure. And silvers is questionable. I think if you're gonna take silvers though, you wanna start taking duchies and stuff. Duchy. Yeah. Now cards and actions. Yeah, maybe playing the tournament first and then taking cards and money would have been better. That's mostly what you want to do with Steed here. This is a province and gets to play the cobbler. That's good. Um, Another block, and this is going to be gaining probably an island to hand. Could be a tournament actually. No, tournament's probably better. Yeah, tournament's probably better. Once it gets blocked, okay, he just, I don't know. So this is going to be a duchy, bag of gold. Okay, that makes some sense. You can buy the duchy here. And Seprix buys a duchy. Tracer buys a province. Duchy. Well, when did you get a forge? I can't ever think of when that would have been good. Keep the province in the tournament so you can gain duchy off of this reveal. Buy an estate. You just salt out on points basically. Now cards and actions. This is a province, and that's the game. What do you know? I am still not convinced by that aggressive of a cobbler, but uh, well, I can't even remember the name of that event. Banquet. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I could see it. Um, Page. What is Orchard again? 3 copies of actions. That works well with Ironworks. DW. Yeah. So I don't think IG can work. I was thinking about that, but I don't think it works because of Arena and Orchard. It just outscores it too much. So here's another page treasure hunter. Not sure about getting more pages. Now I do expect IGGs will be relevant at some point in the game because like there isn't that much draw and Tragic Hero is some of the better draw, so like you can easily see Tragic Heroes getting popped for IGs at some point in the game and that being important. He has a treasure hunter, so he needs to keep one of these coppers. That's too many, right? Well, there's also Imp, of course, to help you draw. That's probably going to be the biggest draw, but you don't play this Night Watchman, right? Yeah. Now, with 5, do you get Jester? Do you get... Whoa, Ig, huh? Ig was not really what was on my mind. I was thinking Tragic Hero, Jester, or Artificer. Jester won't do anything once they get to Champion. Hero's also going to gain Igs, I guess. Just discard the coppers, right? And you can even gain a copper off this IG to help for your DW. That is tech. If he keeps all of these, then he can play the warrior without playing the page. Doesn't work out though because he gets warriored, which maybe he could have anticipated. Gain the copper here. Oh, I would have gained the copper there so that the DW would gain an imp. Farm? Interesting. Well, you're going to discard the copper, that's for sure. He just discards everything because he wants to get back to this champion ASAP. That seems somewhat reasonable. Okay, so here we get to crunch time. Assume he keeps the hero and the Night Watchman, yeah. You gotta start gaining a copper with one of these, right? But just one, right? So you can get that imp, page, hero gains an IG. Buy a tragic hero. There's a lot of treasure hunters in their decks. I think you buy a tragic hero, then play DW, then play Night Watchman. No, you don't want to play the Night Watchman because obviously you want to get this champion shuffled in. Yeah. You go ahead and play this tragic hero after this treasure hunter. Discard there. 5. Get another tragic hero. It scores points. And then Night Watchman. We have a very interesting game on our hands. Do you keep the Ironworks? He does. It's not entirely clear to me. That's a lot of silvers flying around now. Now, I think Seprix has 2 farming villages, so gaining another one here would be okay. Discarding that seems good. Page, imp. Yeah, so Seprix is getting close for Orchard. Here's a champion. He needs to get some more of these orchards going pretty quick though. Why? Does he have 3? Oh, he wants the arena points. Okay. So now you gain a farming village. I think that's his 3rd. He has 3 ironworks, 3 tragic heroes. Okay. There's a province. Okay, so now farming village. You don't really want to pop both of these, do you? He pops one and loses points. I guess Tracer doesn't have any pile control. Start getting pages to go for those. Buy back a tragic hero and another page. Now he has 3 pages. Discard all of this. He keeps the DW, I guess. I think I would discard the page. Maybe it doesn't really matter. So Tracer gets his farming villages. Treasure Hunter needs to be played here. Now, this is probably Province. And DW gaining an Imp, which gets him over Orchard also. Seprix has all kinds of pile control. The page needs to stay as a page, and the Treasure Hunter, I think, needs to turn into a warrior. Did that happen? Oh. Yeah. Now he needs to regain page. Okay, this is very interesting. I'm not sure I would keep the silver. In fact, I don't think I would. It's not really what you're going for. He's pretty close. He has 2 tragic heroes, if I recall right. I think you play the non-imp stuff first here, if you're Seprix, because you want to find the tragic hero without playing the imp. Didn't happen. This is going to be a province. He did keep page that time, so good for him. Now you lead with tragic hero. Yeah. No. Starting with tragic hero was so much better. Well, now he doesn't have any. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's just okay. Is this another orchard for Tracer? I can't keep track. He can't exchange the Treasure Hunter. And he shouldn't exchange the... Okay. Warrior. Estate here? I think. I think you take estate here. Oh, he just takes Night Watchman. I guess he's going to keep the golds. Gain an estate. Okay. Duchy. Province. Duchy. Ironworks are silver or copper. Well played by Seprix. Well played. Remake Catapult. Pageant I really like, but this is a look, not a reveal. Okay. But this is a reveal, so that's worth keeping in mind. You open remake, possibly both. I mean, I do think you want Iggs there. I just think Tracer went for them a little too early. I guess I think when Seprix went for them was a pretty appropriate time. This pageant is looking better and better for Tracer. get a patron here or a village? Would not spend for mining village. I guess you could get a silver. Your eventual deck, you're going to want to have villages, blacksmiths, and patrons, I think. Maybe vault. These draws aren't working the best for Tracer. Now we'll see if he keeps the catapult rather than the remake. Is he gonna he's gonna play or rather than so he wants patron here? This is working out for Seprix, but it's like I kind of like Tracer's play even though it's working out for Seprix, and this is just kind of what I feel like. Oh, patron. I don't like that. I would have not done that. I would have kept the catapult around, but okay. Then we'll remake Copper Estate into Village, nothing, and buy another patron. We buy Pageant then. Interesting. You gotta trash a copper, right? So you lead with Village. And now you remake Copper and Silver into Patron. And you buy a patron. You could remake Copper Village into, but that doesn't really help. Buy Catacombs. Buy Catacombs is actually pretty reasonable because then you can remake the Catacombs into gold and patron. I can't imagine that he doesn't see the combo. Why would you go for this if you didn't see the combo? Maybe they're listening to his audio and he's not talking about it. Patron. Another remake. Interesting. So remake the copper and the remake goes into a catacombs. You catapult the copper and oh, I don't like this. Yeah, I would have trashed the copper and the other remake into a catacombs, and then what is I'm getting rather confused by what is going on here. So this is catacombs into gold and patron. That into catacombs, and now buy a village. Just a normal village. Or an herbalist? I it's hard for my mind to work this fast, but I have the distinct feeling that some suboptimal play is happening here. Herbalist. Okay, now remake the patrons and the catacombs. Draw catacombs, remake. Oh, maybe just one patron into a catacombs and the silver into a patron. I don't know. Now play village. Now just play all these patrons. Now, what does he buy? Herbalist, yep. Because you need plus buys. Play village. Oh. Now RBS, yeah. I don't think that was worth the villager, but I don't think it's probably going to matter either. I don't think the remake is doing much this turn. Pay off your debt, and then you gotta buy village royal blacksmith, so you spend 1 coffers here. Actually, he might need another herbalist soon. Village herbalist, maybe. I think village herbalist here. Seprix isn't really that far. He's kind of far behind. Discard these. I don't remember how many catacombs he has in his deck. We'll keep these for sure. Village. Herbalist, patron, patron, patron. Buy village and herbalist. Okay. That's not the worst, I guess. You gotta discard these because you gotta find a village. Now you can royal blacksmith. And now, can he afford to remake his catacombs? I don't think he can. Guess he could remake one of them. Get a village. But then he has to remake, the other thing he has to remake is... He does both of them. Oh my. Well, he needs another herbalist. You have to play this one, I think. Oh, he's not going to. Well, you just province, obviously. But he also needs more draw now. I think he's kind of shot himself in the foot a little bit. Patron, 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 herbalist. Double province. Oh, province herbalist, maybe. Then you triple the next turn. It's close. Well, you play the village, of course, and just hope that you draw the Royal Blacksmith. Or Catacombs. Either way. Village. Let's go. He just must be tilting off, right? There's no reason to not play the village. He's got, well, he has 2 mining villages and maybe 1 more village. No, no, no. I don't even know what this does, though. So he has a ton of money in 2 buys, but 2 buys is a big problem. You should play this mining village. That's easy. What? What? Okay. And now, what? Province Royal Blacksmith? I'm confused. If you're going to spend the coffers, then that indicates double province. Province probably doesn't lose immediately. He gets the province. You lead on village here, obviously. And you play mining village, obviously. And I think you buy province, right? Yeah, you just buy province. It's going to work out for Seprix, probably. There's no way you don't buy province, okay? And now he just wins because... Oh wow, no draw even still here. But he would have needed to remake 2 4s into duchies and been able to buy duchy province just to tie. They did, and you have the win in hand. You just buy province. Yeah. Huh. Seprix's game to lose. It was over. It was over. It was over. Anyway, thanks for watching. This was a pretty quick match. You can go over to Seprix's channel, I'm sure, to watch his own commentary. I don't think Tracer has any that he posts, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, sorry I haven't recorded in a while, but it's good to be back. Probably won't see as much from me as you did kind of at the end of last year, at the start of this year, but hopefully more than you have for the past few months. Anyway, as I said, thank you for watching, and please rejoin to watch again.